How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about MULN, Mullen Automotive. We end up getting a pullback to the 280s. I talked about this in the previous video, and that would have been ideal for an entry. Of course, I can't give you guys financial advice, but as you saw towards the end, we had a very strong run up going to around $3.60. So to get you guys prepared for tomorrow, I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is a technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the recent short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for Mullen Automotive. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $3.31, being up 3.12%. On the low, it tested $2.83, and then on the high, testing $3.60. So when we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 253.889 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 306.01 million shares. So you can see we did have some strong volume on the day, but it was below the average. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it is at 70.32. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, you can see that we are below the 200-day, the 100-day, but we are above the 21-day EMA and as well as the 50-day. So Mullen continues to show some strength. And if you guys remember what I was saying in the previous video, look out for that pullback if it gets down to the 280 area. It did exactly that and ended up showing a bounce and closing at 331. So this 280 area would have been ideal for an entry if you were just getting into the stock. And as far as for the high that we saw on the day, it was at 360. So going into tomorrow, if we have price action above 360, then I'm going to look for that move going to $4. That is not a lot to ask whatsoever. But if we don't end up getting that, then I'd want to see if we do pull back, continue to hold up $3. This will be very key because then it will give us a higher low since we tested a low of 283. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the stock performs. So one thing that is for sure, there is a lot of interest, especially as the market continues to show strength in the tech sector. And we do see from the RSI being at 70, there hasn't been much profit taking. Yes, we have been seeing some resistance and so forth, but there's still a lot of demand inside of the market. So let's go on to the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the short interest information for MULN. So for the off exchange short volume ratio, it's at 38.77%. And then for the off exchange short volume, it is just over 121.3 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 2.3 million, updated just now. And then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 17.19%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 18th, it was at 38.23. And then for the close of the 21st, being at 38.77. So one thing that remains clear, Mullen does have short squeeze potential. Now let's move on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for Mullen. So we see on the inflow it's at 159, and then on the outflow it's at 142. Keep in mind these numbers are in the millions. So what do I mean by this? It's 159 million versus 142 million. Taking a look at the breakdown on the large, it is 55.33. On the medium, it is 86.53, and then on the small, it is 17.23. Taking a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large, it was 60.27. 67. On the medium, it was 68.28. And then on the small, it was 13.90. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for today, March the 22nd, we had a big outflow of negative 4.94 million. Analyzing the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tends to represent the retail side, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at the large, which represents whales, institutions, and funds, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 734.68%. So there is an improvement here, because before it was well over 1,000. And part of the reasons being is that we had a lot more volume. Today, there was a big difference. We had that below average volume, so there wasn't as much trading that was going on. But with a turnover ratio of over 700%, this is still up there. So let's go into the final thoughts, and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for Mullen, it's going to be an interesting week. This stock comes with a lot of volatility. And today, as far as the press release is concerned, we ended up getting an article coming from Insider Monkey that stated the 10 penny stocks that can explode in 2022. So what this tells us, it gives Mullen even more attention. It's going to draw more interest from retail traders. So we know as far as this week progressing, this is a stock you want to keep on your watch list. And as far as for the price action, because I know many of you want to hear that, like I said in the previous video, if you are going to be looking to get into this play, it would be ideal to get in on support levels. And we know there was solid support, which we've spoken about many times, right around 280. It got to a low of 283. So this would have been an ideal entry to take. And then of course, it ended up having that run up towards the end of the day at $3.60. So what this means going into tomorrow, we want to see price action above 360. This is where we call the breakout level, and where Mullen can potentially get to $4. And of course, $5 is achievable, but we need to make sure that demand continues and we have above average volume. This is very key. We've been seeing a lot of strength inside of the markets, and Mullen's been able to benefit from this. Also, if we go into tomorrow and we have consolidation or a slight pullback, I want to see us hold up support right at $3. This would give us a higher low. But if we break right through it, then of course there is a chance for another entry. But below 282 or even the low 280s, we have to understand it could pull back going to around $2.28, and there is a gap that needs to be filled to the downside. I'm not saying that's going to be happening this week. And part of the reasons behind that, they do have earnings that is coming up on March the 30th. So there's going to be a lot of anticipation, and I feel it's going to be a buy the rumor, sell the news kind of event. And we don't know what they're going to be releasing in regards to their numbers and what the reaction is going to be. So I would highly suggest that you have a game plan in regards to your entry, your exit, and using the right risk management. Again, if you've been watching this channel long enough, you should be green in this position. You should not be seeing any red whatsoever. I want you to keep it that way. Make sure you protect those profits. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information, it does continue to have short squeeze potential. And this is part of the reasons why I say you want to keep this play on your watch list, and why it is crucial that you have a game plan. And one thing that is very clear, there's still a lot of demand inside of the market, and that's why I see Mullen has potential to go further. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to see how the stock performs going into tomorrow. We'll talk soon.